In this video, we will factor by grouping and we will solve 3 problems. This will be the first problem that we will solve. This will be the second problem. And this would be the third problem. So let's do the first problem. And we want to factor by grouping. And the thing about grouping is, if there's one term that's repeated, like x minus 1, we can do factor by grouping. And so what we would say here is this: parentheses x squared minus 9 times x minus 1. And we can check if this even makes sense. X squared times x minus 1 is this. That's good. Minus 9 times x minus 1 would be this. So this is correct. Next step is to try to factor this term out. Since we have an x squared, we check if we can even factor it out, and we can. We could say parentheses x plus 3, parentheses x minus 3. This would be x times x is x squared, 3 times negative 3 is negative 9, x times negative 3 is negative 3x, 3 times x is 3x, so negative 3x plus 3x is 0x, 0. So that's correct, and we bring this down. So we would get x minus 1. And so we just solved this problem. We factored it completely by grouping. So this would be the final answer for this problem right here. And now we will do the second problem. Same exact method. We see a common term, x minus 3, and so we can do factor by grouping. So we would say parentheses 4x squared minus 25 times x minus 3. And now we see an x squared here. So we think, can we factor this further? And the answer is yes. We would get 2x plus 5 times 2x minus 5. And we check, does this make sense? 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. 2x times negative 5 is negative 10x. 2x times 5 is 10x. So 10x minus 10x is 0x. So that's good. And we bring down x minus 3. So x minus 3. And so this right here would be the answer, which is completely factored of this. And now finally for the third problem. And now for the third problem. This problem is a little bit longer. What we do here is separate what we have. So we could say x cubed minus 2x squared plus minus 16x plus 32. So I have this as one term and this as the other. And what I'm going to do here is factor out a common term. For this, it would be x squared. And so we would get x minus 2. And we check. X squared times x is x cubed. X squared times negative 2 is negative 2x squared. So that's good. And now we do this one. So what's common here is negative 16. We can say minus 16 parentheses x minus 2. And what you notice here is now we can group. And just to make sure, negative 16 times x is negative 16x. Negative 16 times negative 2 is 32. So that's good. So now we will do grouping. So x minus 2, x minus 2. So we would get x squared minus 16 parentheses x minus 2. And we ask ourselves, can we factor this out further? And the answer is yes. And so the final answer would be parentheses x plus 4 times x minus 4, because x times x is x squared. 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. 4 times x is 4x. So 4x minus 4x is 0x. And we bring this down. So x minus 2. And so this right here would be the final answer to our problem. And that's all we need to do to factor by grouping.